So, no, we talked a little bit about, these are like key topics. So we talked a little bit about frequency, and we talked some about design elements. So the next thing on here was bounce backs. A lovely topic. So how do we handle the unruly bounce backs? Is there an answer to the bounce back issue?
Yeah, I don't get very many. What? I don't get very many.
When I worked for a program where the problem with us is people would use their work emails and then change jobs. And I think people have gotten a little better at doing a personal email now, but it's still, a lot of people use their work email for their connection, and they're gone from that job, and you've lost contact. Because they use their work address, the work phone number, the work everything, because they're trying to protect their personal email. And then they lose all the contacts. That's those bounce backs that we have. And I don't know
They
if they-
automatically clean them after a while, don't they? Like if you have like 2 hard bounces or something, you get clean.
I know Constant Contact, I think, puts you on it shows you a hard bounce, like there's a soft bounce and then there's a hard bounce eventually. I don't know what their rhyme or reason is for once it hard bounces. I think hard bounces are things where it just says, okay, no return, like the server didn't respond at all, and so it's a no-go. But even with Constant Contact, we sometimes get whoever does a reply to, because you may be sending the email, but it's not technically from you. It might be from info@ or something like that. Then whatever email address that is who's really receiving the bounce backs. And then inside of those tools, I know MailChimp and Constant Contact both have reporting tools where you can go and see those lists of the bounces. So even in your case where you feel like you're not getting a lot of bounces, just make sure that you're still checking those reports to be sure that there's not something that's there. And sometimes it will tell you the actual error message or the problem with it, and you can spot check and go, oh, well, somebody entered the email address, they put the dot here or they're at there or whatever, and that sometimes helps you just clean up a list that could have been a problem. So that definitely helps too. Anybody else experience bounce back issues? I know that. None?
No.
I'm like, wow.
They're just part of
We
life.
mostly go to your
Yeah.
local kind of affiliates.
Well, yeah, see,
Mhm.
most of ours, or if it bounces back, it's because I typed it in wrong in the original list. Because we clean up our contact list once a year, because, we only have 55 members, so,
Yeah.
You would get the problem with those like me who use a secure service. So I use SNK Mail, and depending on how you register, if you register using if you're registering by sending email to something, that's only good for 3 days. Some cases 5. So it's good to have people register by going to a site and register instead of registration by sending email. So the form that response is it Constant Contact that allows that? I'm trying to remember.
That allows what?
That allows you to reply,
Mm-hmm.
and then the reply is used to add to your list. Unfortunately, that email address is going to add, if it comes through a secure service, is going to be a temporary one. So you'll see these funky ones that have all kinds of funky lettering at SNK Mail, and I think there's one called X-Email. I know there's X-Email, and there's several others like that. And a lot of us who work in IT use those. I don't give out my real email address, period. I use these secure ones. I feel like I have 600 of them right now. And that's the only way to manage it. But if it's your business, you have to do that. But increasingly, people, even just wanting to protect themselves from being spammed or using them, which creates a headache on the other side. So if you see SNK Mail or X-Email, that could be an issue.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest problem areas around that too is that we think, oh, I'll clean it up the next time we send out a big mass email.
It got worse. It gets worse.
And then it gets way worse. Because then you've got double the amount. Or you might have some people, if you're doing campaigns or targeted campaigns where you may not be sending it to a whole list, you may be sending it to a small group most of the time, but then you make that big appeal, that final fundraising appeal, right? And you're sending it to everybody, and then you realize, oh, there's all the worms in the woodwork. They come out and come to bite you. So I think, I mean, it's part of doing business in the email world, I think, to some degree, to expect bounce backs. But if you're receiving a lot of them regularly, then it may be a list issue. So like how are you signing people up for your email list? Like how are they subscribing? Are they opting in, or are you just adding them after they've registered for an event or something like that? I think that can be a problem area for people too, if they're not following those opt-in rules, to make sure that people really truly want to be on the list.
Is there any validation tool? Does anybody know of one? So that if you have a list that you can at least validate the valid email addresses, and that way sort them out up front? I mean, Constant Contact and others should have that. They
Yeah.
don't. But that would be great to essentially
There
validate.
is something like that, and I heard about it on the Intent thing on email, where you submit your email list and they charge you by the 100 or by the 1,000 or by the 10, I don't know, some kind of, but then the ones you get back are the good ones.
I'll bet it's gonna be less, it'd be worth the cost if you have lists of 1,000 or more to do that, instead of deal with them, about 10% is what we get on mass appeals as far as bounce backs.
Mm-hmm.
Churches, I think it's fairly high, because you tend to get lists that are not well maintained.
Mm-hmm. Probably depends on your
Well, we
procedures
get
for
lists,
non-
we get lists that aren't very, we don't have those lists yet.
I think we all struggle with that. I don't think it's just you.
Well, I think my experience with past organizations not here is people are hesitant to claim the list because, I have 10,000 people on my list. But if
And you might have
claim
1,000.
too, you know what I mean? So like, it's like hanging on to hair that, you should cut that hair, like
Yeah.
it's starting to look bad. So because sometimes people JC who's in development, like we sell certain services based on the size of our email list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're keeping all those bad ones around, huh?
Like I said, not here.
I'm teasing.
We can always have the raw list, and then for a particular field, for a particular appeal, if it's worth it, do the sanitize. It doesn't mean that has to go back to your database with a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. One other thing to your point too about paying for the services, some email providers charge you by the email that's sent, and some charge you based on the number of subscribers that you have. So I think MailChimp and Constant Contact differ on how they actually do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
MailChimp you can pay for email as well.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Do these services report unddeliverables?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
do, okay.
Yep.
Well, as
Opens,
Yeah.
deliverables,
Yeah.
at least the 5
Okay.
categories I remember.
Opens, deliverables, click-throughs.
Click-throughs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's
Forwards.
two undeliverables, right? There's the hard bounce and the soft bounce.
Yep.
what's the difference between those?
The soft bounce, it's like maybe they were,
Server might have been down briefly. It says
Mhm.
it recognizes it's a valid server, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, it'll
Valid
retry.
email address, but just didn't get through. Okay.
Mhm.
It'll
And
retry
undeliverable-
for some number of times, where hard won't retry.
Right.
Yeah.
Once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
yeah, because the person is just not there
Mhm.
at all.
Or the server's not there yet.
Yeah, oh, right.
Right.
The other thing, some of these places, I don't know if you all have these problems, but it was in a past organization I work with, because organizations as a whole tend not to use like a person's name at a position, because they realize that there might be turnover, so it might be info at, or it might be executive director at, or something like that.
Yeah.
Constant Contact and others won't mail to those email addresses. So if those are in your subscription list, those people are not even receiving your email at all.
They won't?
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know
Well,
that. We had a
Mail-
bunch of those.
Yeah, they
MailChimp,
will not do it.
they can opt in themselves,
Mhm.
but MailChimp, like if you're importing a list,
Yeah.
it won't let you import those.
That's why the minister wasn't getting it.
Yeah,
Minister at.
Minister at, yeah.
I mean, because you can
Yeah.
basically just make up, like,
Yeah.
I need to reach someone at Pepsi-Cola,
Yeah.
info at, and then
Mhm.
just add all these random email addresses.
So you might want to consider that if your organization uses them personally, like if you have an info ad address for your organization, because people, I mean, maybe you don't want the emails anyways, but, consider that as an option too, because you may not be receiving certain things based off of that.
I need to double check that though, because I was just thinking, we have one that I know of that I actually got a reply for an email that had a generic, it was like executive assistant at, and, County United Way, and, but it went through because she emailed wanting
She
more
replied back.
information, she replied back, so. I'm gonna.
She still,
I know that
she
there's
opted in
certain
herself,
ones, yeah.
probably.
No, well,
If she
no, I don't
replied, the
think so.
system must
System.
have caught
The-
it and
the-
said, yep, that's good.
Yeah, the system must have sent it. So I'm gonna have to check on those though, because
Yeah.
we have a bunch of
Mhm.
small United Ways that do that.
Yeah.
It's like executive director at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.